Final Fantasy VIII is probably one of the weirdest games in the franchise, where levelling up actually makes you weaker. But what if I told you there is a way to get insanely powerful from the very start? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to break the game using nothing but Triple Triad, a beach, and smart Guardian Force farming. Now, the remastered version of the game does include enhancement toggles, which will make this process even quicker, but it's not essential to have those. And if you're ready to destroy Final Fantasy VIII, unlocking powerful spells, stats, and abilities before the first real mission, then you are in the right place. So fire up Final Fantasy VIII, get to the title screen, and come and join me as we begin this journey of early overpowered greatness together. Okay, let's begin by selecting a new game and working our way through the opening FMV cinematic and the introductory scenes. Eventually, we'll get control of Squall here in the classroom, and it's important that we head back to Squall's desk, access the computer, and grab our first two Guardian Forces. They are Shiva and Quetzalcoatl, and you can get those by accessing the tutorial option. Before getting on the elevator, make sure you speak to this student in the hallway, because he's going to give us a set of Triple Triad cards. They're going to be really important, we'll be using those later. Now, before we move on, here's the key part. Do not level up. We're going to be keeping our levels as low as possible, and that's because we have level scaling in this game. Generally a divisive feature, but we're going to be using it to our advantage. To cut a long story short, in FF8, low-level parties with good junctions will dominate the game. So continue the story, working your way out of Balam Garden and onto the world map. And a little bit of an optional step here, but you can access some enemies on the field area and in the forest area in order to grab some early magics. So make sure you equip your two GFs, one onto Squall, one onto Quistis, and ensure they both have the draw command, and then use the draw command to stock up on some of these low-level early magics. I do recommend getting at least Cure, Scan, and Blizzard, for example, on both party members. The great thing is, if you're playing the remastered version as I am, you do have access to that X3 turbo toggle, which makes, draw grinding so much quicker and easier. And another little tip to help draw magics quicker, before doing so, just head into the main menu, go to the config, and set the cursor to memory. And since we're keeping our levels low, make sure you are escaping all random enemy encounters, even encounters where you spend time drawing magics from the enemies. Don't kill those enemies once you've drawn your magic, just escape to avoid any experience. Now we're going to head over to the fire cavern. A little bit of a dispute here amongst fans as to whether you should be getting Ifrit or not at this point, but I think it's definitely better to get Ifrit and to recruit him. Reason being, he gives you access to some really super useful abilities, so it's better to have 3 GFs for this farm, in my opinion, than just 2. Don't worry about fighting Ifrit, because bosses do not give any experience. I recommend choosing the 10-minute option, as that's still plenty of time, and if you want to get the high seed rank boost, which is optional, but I'll mention it, then you need to finish the battle against Ifrit with as less time left on the clock as possible. Now, what I recommend in order to do this is go ahead and deplete Ifrit's HP. He has just over 1,000 HP, and then once you have about 45 HP left on Ifrit, just keep curing your party until 30 seconds left. At that point, you can finish him off with a single blow, and then whatever time's left at the end of the fight, probably about 10 to 15 seconds, just wait at the victory screen for that amount of time so that the timer, which you can't see at this point, will reduce to 0, and then you can proceed. That will actually give you the best possible result in terms of your seed rank boost. But once we've recruited Ifrit, we're going to leave the fire cavern, get back onto the road and follow the road all the way past Balam Garden and towards Balam Town. And I will tend to save at this point on the world map, and you can also go ahead and equip Ifrit. I will recommend putting him onto Squall, because then we can junction Squall's strength stat, which paired with his gunblade is a nice powerful early combo. And the reason we're going into Balam Town, if we head all the way around here to the station area, you can see this NPC, which is the famous, perhaps infamous, Queen of Cards. Now, all we want to do with her is get her to change the trade rule to all. and that will affect the entire region that we're going to be playing cards in around Balam. And it's a really important rule, trade rule, because that means that we'll be able to go ahead and every time we win a card battle, collect all of the opponent's cards as our reward, as our prize, which is going to build up our collection much more quickly. So in order to do this, engage the Queen of Cards in a card battle but don't actually play. Just get to this screen so you can see what the current trade rule is, and if it's not all, quit out of it and try and engage her again. Keep repeating this until she finally gives you the all trade rule. Once she does that again, don't play her, quit out of this screen and do not talk to her again. Really important that you don't speak to her again, or you'll probably lose that rule to one of the more deficient ones. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and leave Balam Town, save again on the world map. Thus, we now begin our first main grind, which will take about 25 to 30 minutes. So it's not a killer grind at all, but it will bring us that initial power and some of the abilities we're going to need going forward. So before we actually begin the grind, make sure you set up your current GFs. And as we go through this grind, I'm going to step by step explain every single ability that you need your GFs to learn and in what order. To start with, Quetzalcoatl needs to be learning the card ability. Shiva needs to be learning the Ice Magic Refinement ability, and Ifrit needs to be learning the Strength plus 20% ability. So make sure those three abilities have been selected. Next up, we're just heading to the beach outside of Balam Town, and make sure you stick rigidly to the beach because this is the only place to find these fish enemies. And the reason we're fighting these is you always get 2 per battle, and they give 3 AP each for 6 AP per battle, making this the most efficient AP farm for our Guardian forces at this stage in the game. Right now, the fight can be a little bit tough, but it will get easier very quickly, don't worry. Just make the most of those cure magics that we've been drawing and just use those after battle from the main menu to keep your party up to snuff. You can easily draw more cure magic from the local caterpillars when you need it. Now, throughout this grind, Squall and Quistis will gain 1 level each. Remember, we're trying to do a low level run here, which will increase our overall relative power. So 1 level is just something we're going to have to face, but if we do everything right, they should never need to gain more than that. After just a few fights, Shiva will learn the Ice Magic Refinement ability. Straight away you can head into the menu and use this to refine the fish fins that the fish have been dropping into water magic, and 1 fin will refine into 20 water. So you should have enough fins, or you will have very soon, to get 100 water for both Squall and Quistis. Focus on Squall though, get those 100 water, and then making sure he has Ifrit equipped, you can then junction those water to his strength stat. This will be a nice early power boost for him. And before going into the next battle, make sure to choose Shiva's next ability to learn. In this case, it should be Strength Junction. After just a few more encounters, Quetzalcoatl will learn the card ability. So then head into the GF menu again and make sure you choose card mod for the next ability for Quetzalcoatl to learn. This does require 80 AP, so it's going to take a few fights, but it's a super important ability, so do not forget to select this. And before going into the next battle, make sure you go to Quistis Junction menu, and on her ability junction, give her the card ability that we just learned. This is super important ability. It's going to allow us to kill enemies without gaining experience from this point forward. The way this works is you cast card on an enemy when they are at low HP. They will be transformed into that card, and you will not gain experience, but you will collect all the other rewards for the fight, including AP and items. So every enemy now going forward, only kill using the card ability, weaken them with a couple of physical attacks, then cast card with Quistis, and that will mean we don't gain any more levels. Shortly after, Ifrit is going to learn Strength plus 20%, so make sure to head over to his menu and choose his next ability to learn, which is the Fire Magic Refinement ability. And before heading back into battle, equip that new Strength plus 20% passive ability onto Squall. That will again give him a nice damage boost and just help you to get through these battles a little more quickly. Soon after, Shiva will learn the Strength Junction ability. Now, since Squall already has this with Ifrit, I recommend giving Shiva to Quistis if she doesn't already have Shiva at this point, and then you can equip 100 water onto Quistis' strength stat for additional damage. As far as Shiva is concerned, make sure to select the Elemental Attack Junction as the next ability for this GF to learn. A couple more fights later and Ifrit will learn Fire Magic Refinement. Make sure to select Strength plus 40% as the next ability for Ifrit to learn. Soon after this, Quetzalcoatl will be next, learning the Card Mod ability. Again, super important ability we'll be using in a little while. Make sure Quetzalcoatl selects Thunder Magic Refinement as the next ability to learn, which will just take a few battles, and then Quetzalcoatl will learn that Thunder Magic Refinement. And at this point, you can select Mid Magic Refinement for Quetzalcoatl's next ability. Now at this point from the main menu, if you head into the ability list, you should have 4 abilities that are showing. These are Thunder Magic Refinement, Ice Magic Refinement, Fire Magic Refinement, and Card Mod. If you're missing either of those 4, any of those 4, then you've skipped this tutorial somewhere. So just go back and learn the abilities that you're missing. But that does bring us to the end now of this first grind. See, I told you it wasn't too bad. At this point, I tend to just fight against a caterpillar in order to restock on the cure magics that I've been using, after which we can return to Balam Garden, where we're going to begin the next stage. Guys, are you feeling overpowered? Because we're not done yet. Come on, I'll fight you. Once you finish this video, make sure you check out my full Final Fantasy VIII Remastered walkthrough playlist, because I go over everything in that. Dozens and dozens of videos, over 1 million views over the years on that walkthrough. I'll drop the link in the description. And at this point, we now have a choice, because right now, with the little bit of grinding you've done, you are going to be substantially more powerful than those who are playing the game that haven't done this grind, okay? Their Squall will be doing about 70 points of damage with his Gunblade, compared to your Squall doing about 250 to 300 points of damage. But we can now take things further. We're going to get into some more advanced strategies using Triple Triad, which is the card game, and our GF's refinement abilities. So, the first thing I'm going to recommend is making Triple Triad easier to play, which means getting some early powerful cards. Fortunately, most of the basic enemies in this area, in this region, have a small chance, when carded, of being transformed into boss level cards. So I'm going to leave Balam Garden again at this point and start encountering enemies around the Fire Cavern in the grassy area. So the 2 enemies we are likely to encounter are Bitebug, and Bitebug has a 6% chance when being carded of transforming into the Elverit boss card, and we have a rare chance of encountering the Glacial Eye enemy. And this is the one I really want, because this has a 6% chance of being carded into Jumbo Cactuar, a very powerful boss level card that is going to help us a lot. Now, it took me about 20 to 25 minutes to get both of these cards, but I am going to recommend, just to make this grind go easier, that you do enable the Remaster toggles. I also recommend for this area that you take off Water from Squall's Strength Junction and also remove his Strength plus 20% ability. That's so you don't one-shot these enemies before you card them. In this state, Squall is likely going to be able to attack each enemy 3 times, which will then reduce their HP to a sufficient level to be carded. Once you've got either or both of those rare cards, the Alvarit card and the Jumbo Cactuar card, we're going to head back into Balam Garden and save our game. We're then going to head around to the training centre, which is on the right hand side of the garden. And in the training centre, we're going to head over to the left side of this place and start fighting the Gnat enemies. These are a little bit annoying as they do cast status ailments, but with the remaster toggles that I mentioned, these battles do go quickly. Again, we're going to attack these, but this time I'm only going to attack them once with Water Junction to Strength and with Strength plus 20%. And then I'm going to attempt to cast card, and we're looking for our next card, which is the Shumi Tribe. Again, a rare card with a 6% chance, but these Gnat enemies are a dime a dozen, so this probably won't take too long. Once you've got the Shumi Tribe, head over to the right hand side of the training centre, where you will have a good chance of encountering T-Rexor. Now, T-Rexor is a tough enemy. With the remaster toggles, all you need to do is spam Squall's Limit Break, and he has a lot of HP, so deplete T-Rexor for about 4,000 HP worth of damage, 4 to 5,000, and then start carding him. His standard card, the T-Rexor card, is also a powerful card. So once we've done that, we're going to have a nice collection of powerful cards to begin proper Triple Triad matches. But before we get into that, again, very important, save your game. We're now going to begin playing Triple Triad, and we're going to do this to start with to get some more rare cards. Although this is kind of optional, I suppose. You should have a deck strong enough now to actually begin farming. But hey, I want to give you all the choices available. So the first NPC we're going to battle against is the young lad that runs around the main reception area. So in order to get him to spawn, I'm just going to go ahead and leave the area and come back. And he will spawn from the left side of the screen and come running across. If he doesn't come after a few seconds, then you can go ahead and do it again. Reset the area. There he is. So we're going to go ahead and engage him in battle now. If this is, well, card game battle. If this is your first time playing Triple Triad, it may take some practice, but don't worry. It is actually a lot of fun, and once you get used to it, you'll be whizzing through these. Just make sure you save before each Triple Triad game, so if you do lose and your nice cards that you've worked hard for get taken, you can just reload. Now, we did activate the all trade rule at the Queen, which means it is now available in this region. I'm going to quit out of this and try and battle him again until we see the all rule. Can be a bit annoying for this guy because he likes to run all over the place. We might have to spawn him again, but there it is. Because I've got the all rule now, if we go ahead and win this game, we should see that most of the time going forward. So we won't have to keep quitting as we try and play people going forward. Let's go ahead now and choose our cards. So maybe T-Rexor. Like I say, we've got a good collection of cards. We want to choose 5. I could also... Yeah, no, there are 5 strong cards that we've collected. So that will do nicely. Now, the way this works, you can see he's got the mini-mog. That's the card I would like to get. So the way this works is we have cards with numbers on. He has cards with numbers on. We need to make sure that the numbers we put down next to his cards are higher, and that will transform the opponent's cards into our cards. And whoever has the most ownership of cards at the end of the game wins. Once we put it into practice here, it will be a lot more obvious how this works. So I'm going to pop Ifrit down here since he can't be beat. And let's see what's best here. Again, I'm just going to pop Cactuar down since he can't be taken with his 8-8 in the corners. Okay, so it looks like we're going to win this now. We'll take that one. I bided my patience. And yeah, we won. So we only won by 1 card, 6-4. But that's fine. Because we have the trade rule as all, we're going to win all of the opponent's cards now. Including that all-important mini-mog. So that's perfect. So first time we got that, first attempt rather. I'm going to go ahead and save at this point. Okay, and we're going to head over to the left side now of Garden. And beyond this screen into the next, we want to make our way into the cafeteria. And in the cafeteria, there is another person we can play. So we've got a collection of players here. If we go to this table and play the person in the back, so you get to choose who you want to play. We're going to play the guy in the back. And he also is going to hopefully have a rare card. You can see we've got the all trade rule there. So let's go ahead and select our cards. And you can see he plays Quistis, which is another great card to get if we can. So let's drop some cards down here, which are safe for us to play. And yeah, this is actually safe. So none of these cards can be taken back. And if we take this, we're safe again. So it looks like we're going to win this one quite easily. You can see because we've chosen the cards that we've chosen, Triple Triad is actually not really all that challenging. And there we go, we get Quistis' card, which is another very powerful card. So at this point, I'm going to save my game once more. But we are effectively ready for the grind. Okay, ready to start collecting cards that are going to help us out with our refinements. We shouldn't really be losing now, but once more, I am just going to save. Really important, I can't stress that enough, and then we're going to crack on. So as of right now, I've got just about 3 hours on the clock. I've been doing this for a little bit of time, hitting all those card players. And I've got a good collection of cards at this point, worthy enough to show you some card modding that we can do for some powerful junctions. So if we head over now to the ability, and the card mod ability that we learned earlier, remember? And first on the list will be Snow Lion. Now, Snow Lion will refine into a North Wind, a single Snow Lion card into a single North Wind. So let's go ahead and do all 5 that I've got here, so we get 5 North Wind. And if we now head over to our Ice Magic refinement, those North Wind we just refined, each will refine into 20 Blizzagars, which is level 3 magic. Very, very powerful to cast, but more importantly, very powerful to junction. So I'm going to go ahead and refine all 5, giving Squall 100 Blizzagar magic. And if we head back to card mod, next on the list are Abyss Worms. Now, Abyss Worms, also beautiful, each one refining into a windmill. So I'm going to go ahead once more and refine 5. And then we're going to head back to, this time, Thunder Magic Refinement. And there's our windmill, one of which will refine into 20 tornadoes. So with 5, we'll be able to get 100. See how awesome this is? 100 tornado and Squall at the very, very start of the game. It's just bonkers insane. It really is. What else can we do here? Oh yeah, if we head back to card mod. Blitz should be next. I think I got enough Blitz. Yeah, I've got 5 Blitz. So a Blitz will refine into a Dynamo Stone. Let's go ahead and get all 5. And head back to Thunder Magic. Yep, Dynamo Stone refines into 20 Thundergars. Why not? Let's just get all these high-level magics right at the start of the game, shall we? And now if we just go to Squall, check out some of his new magics. Well, straight off the bat, let's replace Strength with Tornado, shall we? I mean, that looks pretty good, yeah, going from 44 with our already powerful water to 78. And I do want to get HP Junction on Squall, which I can do with my GF. So Quetzalcoatl has HP Junction, which I've nearly learned. And when we get our second party member, Ifrit can also learn HP Junction as well. And now let's just check out some of our new damage here. So with the standard attack now with Squall, let's see what we can lay on this enemy. $1,700 damage. 1,700 damage before we've even progressed barely any story in Final Fantasy VIII. And this is how we're now going to be starting the game. So I've quickly just gone ahead and learned HP Junction on Ifrit. Let's go and stick something else on him, maybe Elemental Defense. And this now means that on Squall, we can boost his HP level. So Tornado is actually great for this, but we are, of course, using Tornado already on our strength, which I would like to retain. But 3.5k HP is very tempting. Instead, we can still give him a nice healthy HP boost using a level 3 magic, for example, Blizzagar here. So yeah, nearly 2k HP along with that huge strength stat. Guys, we haven't leveled, well, we gained 1 level. Okay, this is purely through card modding and junctions. We've now got Squall to insane levels of power very, very, very early on in the adventure. And another card that you can technically get, I've managed to farm 10 of them. Unfortunately, these are a little bit rarer, and you do need a lot of them to make this worthwhile. So this is for those of you that are absolutely bonkers insane. But if you could get 100 Ruby Dragons, then you can refine these into one of the most powerful magics in the game. 10 will refine into a single Inferno Fang. And now if we head to Fire Magic Refinement, an Inferno Fang will refine into 20 Flares. So actually, we only need 50, not 100. We need 50 Ruby Dragons. And that will give us 100 Flares for a single party member. But it's not just about raw stats. You can actually refine some cards into items that will then teach blue magics for Quistis' Limit Break. Some nice blue magics as well. So, for example, let's go ahead and turn the Gesper into a black hole. We just need 1 of these. Let's find the Marlborough. Where's Marlborough? I know I've got at least 1 of them. Oh, there we go. I've got 4. So turn this into a Marlborough Tentacle. That will do us good. Oh, yeah. This one here, Samo 8G. We'll get a Running Fire. Fastitokalan, let's go ahead and get 1 of those for a Water Crystal. A Creeps will give us a Coral Fragment. A Gala will give us a Mystery Fluid. Triface will give us a Curse Spike. And a Caterpillar will give us a Spiderweb. And now if we head over to our item page, yeah, we can just basically start giving these out. So Black Hole gives us Degenerator on Quistis, the Tentacle. Bad Breath, which I'm sure many of my Final Fantasy fans out there will know about. Gatling Gun, Aqua Breath, Electrocute, Acid, Level Death, and Ultra Waves. So a whole bunch of blue magics now for Quistis. Again, very, very early on, and some of those are really nice and powerful as well. And folks, if you've been following me all the way through this video and are at roughly the same level I am currently at, then congratulations. You are now an absolute powerhouse and you are going to blitz through the game. Just remember to keep your levels low, as that's where that relative power is going to be found. But please do let me know your thoughts of overpowering Final Fantasy VIII early on in the adventure down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tricks and tips videos going forward, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.